You're watching the proper video if you've ever wondered how much Tesla stock you'll need to retire and begin living the good life. That's exactly what we'll be talking about today. Please continue to watch and remember to subscribe to our channel and give a like. Now let's start this video and calculate how many Tesla shares you will need to own in order to retire in 2030. If full self-driving FSD costs $8,000 in 2020, $10,000 in 2021, and $12,000 in 2022, the estimated cost will be $28,000. Tesla appears to be boosting the price of their SD by $2,000 annually, indicating their level of confidence in the product. For them, this SSD will only be a money monster, much like a bank, if it turns out to be the reality that it appears to be. They will be extremely wealthy. Thus, we receive $28,000 as a one-time payment by growing by $2,000 yearly until 2030. It appears from certain research that they can attain 64% by 2031, which is a confirmed truth. Should it transpire, Tesla will prove to be yet another profitable venture. It's merely software. They'd benefit greatly from it as a major upsell. Thus, by 2030, we'll leave it at 62%. Sales of the automobiles and FSD are included in the total revenue. Each car that is sold here now costs $50,000. Due to supply and demand, it's a little bit higher, but to be safe, we'll assume that the average car sold by 2030 will cost $50,000. That will continue to be the situation. The cars and the FSD are included in the net income, or total net income in this case. The vehicles are assigned a 25% rating, even though the actual figure is closer to 30%. So profit will account for 25% of each vehicle sold. Pre-split shares were worth $1.5 billion. It's okay, this sum will alter in June, July, or October when they announce the stock split. The only information I have is that they will have 1.5 billion outstanding shares by 2030, which is highly improbable given that they have no incentive to dilute so many shares given their high level of profitability. In fact, they need to be paying out dividends or buying back stock, but Tesla has said that it isn't interested in doing either. 1.5 pre-split earnings per share, or EPS, comes after the number of outstanding shares. The price-to-earnings ratio, or PE, was maintained at 40 as close to reality as possible, although it will be adjusted when the stock split. I predict that Tesla's price will be less than 40 by 2030 and probably more than 50. In North America, the average monthly expenditure for a family of two is more than $5,000 or $3,000 annually, which makes sense given that you are sharing a home with a spouse or significant other. Let's be selfish for a moment and assume that you wish to retire the shares on your own in this video. That is a whole unrelated tale. The typical monthly outlay decreases to just over $3,000. For ease of calculation, let's choose $3,200, or almost $40,000 annually. It's all right. Now subtracting that $3,200 monthly expense from 2030's average 3% annual inflation rate, and we arrive at $4,020. However, let's say you want to have some fun rather than have a simple existence. The S&P 500 yields 8 to 10% yearly, but let's be cautious and estimate 7%. If you want to take out $5,000 or $850,000 by 2030 and the S&P has a 7% annual return, you will need to sell your Tesla shares for about $850,000. It's amazing that investing that money in the S&P 500 will last you for up to 50 years. 48 years is what one calculator forecasts, 46 years by another. Now that we know that the mid to late 40s is a great period of time to seek for $850,000 with an average return of 7%, we can calculate how much we need to live on each month and set our monthly cost budget accordingly. After you've interpreted the graphic, you'll see that food and vehicle sales were the only two industries. Not a single energy, robo-taxes, Tesla insurance, Tesla bot, and so on. The only reason it's based on the data we have is that we need to know how much robo-taxes, the Tesla bot, and Tesla insurance are currently making. Although we don't currently have a lot of data on solar panels, What you see here can be regarded as a minimum because our data is trustworthy and dependable. Regarding the number of Tesla shares required for retirement, in the worst case scenario, Tesla's shares would be worth roughly $450 if they sell 20 million cars by 2030. Though I find it hard to imagine that many cars minus 55 million that might be there. No automaker has ever gone to that extent. If we assume that 30 million is far more fair than 55 million, we obtain roughly $13,000 per share with a market valuation of over $20 trillion. I'd like to know if Tesla can reach this or not. Now, because of the outstanding shares, the market cap is extraordinarily high. The market cap will decrease if that does, as I 030. Just 98 shares are required to reach. Let's look at the default scenario. Instead of 78.6, all you need is 79 shares. Although 78.6 is now unavailable, 79 shares will set you back about $79,000. If they sell 25 million cars over the next 8 years, that's more than 10x, and if they sell 30 million, that's more than 66x. By 2030, buying $65,000 to $66,000 in 66 shares might earn $850,000. Say you have already made a commitment. I'll give you a suggestion. Maybe for the following year, 2 years, or 3 years, don't log in if the market crashes 50% again. We don't know, but it will since the American stock market consistently recovers and is resilient. Cars and FSD are the only things included. As I mentioned before, there is no robo-taxes, no solar energy storage, and no Tesla insurance. FSD and Tesla vehicles are the only 2 factors at this time because we lack the factual data necessary to include it. And that's it. Because I'm a conservative and want to see the worst case, I'm leaning toward the bear case. I will feel terrible and as though I made a mistake if I place too much stock in the best case scenario. You only need 100 shares in the bear situation. Hold it, remember it, and don't be alarmed. 8, 9, 10 years, and that's all. Since Tesla isn't a 1-decade thing, if you don't sell by 2030, that $850,000 will be worth a lot more in 5 years. It will persist for some time. Tesla will be in business for a very long time by 2050. They are among the people who solve problems for a living, and Tesla is too valuable to fail or to allow anybody else to fail. This brings an end to our analysis of the number of shares required to buy Tesla stocks and retire. Please like and subscribe to our channel if you're a fan of Tesla and would want to see more videos. More about Tesla will be covered soon. I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next videos. I'm grateful.